All right, so in this video, I'm going to find the exact values of these trigonometric ratios. I'm going to do them without a calculator, so I'm going to be using my special triangles for these examples. Now, the first thing we need to do is we need to draw a grid out over here, and we need to draw the angle in the correct quadrant. So this is 0, this is pi over 2, or basically 0.5 pi. This is pi, this is 3 pi over 2 or 1.5 pi, and then we're back to 2 pi, which is one entire circle. So we always start over here on the axis and we go in the counterclockwise direction. So 2 pi over 3 is between pi over 2 and pi. You should be able to do this mentally. So it's going to be in the second quadrant right here with this angle being 2 pi over 3. So my acute angle over here is going to just be pi over 3 because pi minus 2 pi over 3 is pi over 3. And then this is part of a special triangle right here with this angle as pi over 3. So this is a triangle with pi over 3, pi over 6, and pi over 2 over here. So opposite of pi over 3 is root 3. Adjacent to pi over 3 is 1, and then the hypotenuse is 2. But then you also want to figure out the signs. So since this is my negative x quadrant, this is actually negative 1 over here. The opposite is fine, it's root 3, and then the hypotenuse is always positive. So sine, we're pretending like it's this tiny angle here. Sine 2 pi over 3 is opposite over hypotenuse, which is square root 3 divided by 2. So now let's go through the rest of the examples. I'll do them a bit quicker. Won't explain in as much detail as I did this first one, but let's go through the rest of them. So cos 5 pi over 4, 5 pi over 4 is going to be over here between pi and 3 pi over 2. My entire angle here is 5 pi over 4, which means that my tiny acute angle here is pi over 4. I did 5 pi over 4 minus pi. This is the other special triangle with pi over 4, pi over 4. This is 1, 1, and this is root 2. And since this is my negative x quadrant, this is going to be negative. This is in my negative y quadrant. This is also going to be negative. So cos is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is negative 1 over root 2. And if you have to rationalize this, you can multiply the top and bottom by root 2. So you'll get negative root 2 over 2. Third example is tan of 11 pi over 6. So 11 pi over 6 is in my fourth quadrant, slightly less than 2 pi. There's my angle right there, 11 pi over 6. If I do 2 pi minus 11 pi over 6, I'll get pi over 6 as my acute angle. I know opposite of pi over 6 is 1, adjacent to pi over 6 is root 3, and then the hypotenuse is 2. And then this is positive, it's in the positive. This is negative because it's in the negative x quadrant, y quadrant. And tan is opposite over adjacent. So negative 1 over root 3. I'll multiply the top and bottom by root 3 to rationalize. So it's negative root 3 divided by 3. Fourth example is sine of 7 pi over 4. So again, in this one, I'm going to draw the quadrant out. 7 pi over 4 is in the fourth quadrant. I do 2 pi minus 7 pi over 4. I'll get pi over 4 as the acute angle. And we have 1, 1, and root 2. This one's going to be negative. X value is going to stay positive. The sine is opposite over hypotenuse. Negative 1 over root 2, which is negative root 2 over 2 if you rationalize. Okay, last two are reciprocal functions, which are not too difficult. We're going to start with cosec 5 pi over 6. So anytime I have a reciprocal, I actually first find the opposite or the reciprocal of it, which is sine of 5 pi over 6, because sine is the reciprocal of cosec. So I know 5 pi over 6 is slightly less than pi. So it's in this quadrant right here. 5 pi over 6 is my principal angle, and my acute angle is just going to be pi over 6, because pi minus 5 pi over 6 is pi over 6. Then I'll label my sides. So this is going to be 1, √3, and 2, and only the x value is negative here. The sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so 1 over 2, which means cosec is going to be the reciprocal of that, so 2 over 1, which is just 2. And last problem here is sec 5 pi over 3. So again, the reciprocal of sec is cos. So I'll start by finding cos of 5 pi over 3. 5 pi over 3 is in my last quadrant. Acute angle is just pi over 3. Opposite side is √3, and it's going to be negative because it's in the negative y quadrant. Adjacent side is 1, and hypotenuse is 2. These are both positive. And cos of 5 pi over 3 is adjacent over hypotenuse, which is 1 over 2, which means that sec of 5 pi over 3 again is 2 over 1, which is just 2.